Splash guards are not only functional, but they add a bit of subtle styling to a vehicle. And today I'm going to have you follow along with me as I install a set of front and rear splash guards to my 2015 Mercedes C300. And I'm going to do the installation without removing the wheels and no drilling. And when you're ordering your splash guards, be sure to check to see if the product fits your vehicle. Even the different trim levels of the same vehicle will have slightly different body contours, so be sure to check the item before you place your order. These are imitation products, so they're not genuine Mercedes parts, and they're mounted through these holes to the fender of the car. Even though this is not an official part, it fits the contours in the quarter panel. The kit also comes with screws and fasteners, but I ended up not using them. If you have trim removal tools, they'll definitely come in handy. Before installing, I'm adding an additional step of sticking on a piece of clear vinyl behind the wheel. I'm doing this to protect the paint from micro scratches when the splash guard rubs against the finish. I've seen this technique used by car manufacturers to keep parts of the car body from getting rock chips or scratches. To measure the curve of the wheel, I use a piece of tinfoil to wrap around the curve to get the shape I needed to cut out. I ended up buying a 15-foot roll of clear vinyl, but I didn't need to use very much of it. And when the air bubbles are worked out, you'll barely notice that the vinyl is there. Just remember to remove the top protective plastic when you're done and repeat on all 4 fenders. Okay, so on the front, turn the wheel so there's more room to work with. Here you'll see 2 plastic fasteners that need to be popped out. The center pin also needs to be pulled out before the main plug can come out. You can use a screwdriver to get things loose here, but then I use a trim removal tool to get the plastic plug out. Now I'll dry fit the splash guard onto the fender. At the top there's a tab that will hook onto the body of the car when it's in place. I can see that all the holes are perfectly lined up even though this is an imitation product. And here you can see how the clear vinyl is going to protect my paint from grains of sand. Now take the plastic plugs and push them back into the holes where we took them out. With a little pressure, these will go back in really easily. Once the plugs are in, insert the center pins into the plugs to lock everything in place. Now I didn't use the included screws because the holes were larger than the screws and I couldn't get behind the fender to use the metal fasteners. One thing about the front is that the hole on the bottom didn't line up with the big plastic plug under the car, so for now the bottom isn't connected. But the front splash guard feels pretty secure with the fasteners that I did use. Now let's move on to the rear wheel. Again, there are going to be 2 plastic fasteners that will need to be removed. There's one towards the top and one at the bottom. Popping these out of the back wheel is a bit more difficult just because there's not much room to work with back here. But if you're working your tools at the right angles, it won't be too hard to pop them out. Just be patient when removing these plastic plugs. You don't want to break them, so using a trim removal tool will help put equal pressure on the head. There's also a bolt under the fender that will have to come out, and this one helps secure the bottom of the splash guard. For this, I'll use a 10mm socket. Again, I'll dry fit the splash guard to make sure all the holes line up. As mentioned before, these are made specific to this vehicle so the contours line up with the body lines. Now just take the plastic plugs and put them back into the holes of the fender. And again, I didn't use any of the included screws because I didn't really find any place I could use them on the C300. Maybe I could have gotten under the rubber behind the fender, but to me it didn't seem like the screws would work. So I just ended up using the plastic fasteners that I had originally removed. Here you can see a snug fit and how the vinyl I applied earlier will protect my paint. The last thing to do is to screw in the bolt at the bottom. I'm glad the hole for the rear splash guards lined up for a really secure fit, unlike the holes for the fronts. But I'll have to figure out some kind of solution for the front one of these days. They're pretty secure and I don't think they're going to go anywhere. Once the installation is finished, it really adds a finishing touch to the vehicle. They're a really subtle styling feature and helps keep some debris from hitting the paint on the car. On the front, you'll have full range of steering without the tire rubbing on the splash guard. As you can see, these splash guards were really easy to install and they only cost me $50. If you were to buy the official Mercedes brand parts, they'd cost about $200. The nice part was that I didn't have to drill, jack up the car, or remove the wheel to install these splash guards. This is easily a 1-hour job if you don't do the clear vinyl like I did. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all my weekly videos.